In his short life, Jean Michel Basquiat was a pop icon, cultural figure, graffiti artist, musician, and neo expressionist painter. He was a precocious child, and by the age of 4, he could both read and write. By the time he was 11, he was fluent in English, French, and Spanish. And by the time he was 15, he ran away from home, living for less than a week in Washington Square Park, after which he was arrested and sent back home to live with his father. He dropped out of school in the 10th grade, after which his father kicked him out of the house, leaving the young artist to live with friends, supporting himself by selling t shirts and homemade postcards. In the 1970s, Basquiat began spray painting buildings in lower Manhattan using the pseudonym Samo, earning him notoriety and a certain amount of fame. He appeared on television in 1979 on the show TV Party, and that same year formed a rock band called Gray, which performed all throughout New York. During this time, he also appeared in the music video Rapture by Blondie. By 1982, he was regularly showing his work and had many high profile friendships, including a brief relationship with Madonna, a brief involvement with the musician David Bowie, and long-time collaboration with the artist Andy Warhol. He worked on his paintings in $1,000 Armani suits, in which he would appear in public spattered in paint. He also appeared on the cover of New York Times Magazine in 1986. Although he was a successful artist, Basquiat became addicted to heroin, and after the death of his friend Andy Warhol in 1987, his addiction became worse. He became increasingly isolated and died of a heroin overdose in 1988. Posthumously, many exhibitions of his works have been held, and biopics, books, collections of poems, and feature films have all been inspired by his work and life.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to talk to you about Jean Michel Basquiat. And in particular, we're going to talk about one painting, and this is the painting. It is entitled All Colored Cast. I will say that this is not the original, but a print, a poster print, one that I purchased from the internet at allposters.com. This is it. All right. Where should I begin? Alexander the Great, MCM, some Roman numerals. All right. This is what the actual painting looks like. All right. Jean Michel Basquiat is communicating with us here. And the main points that I'm going to share with you are that Jean Michel is talking about history, sports, economics, anatomy, and even linguistics here in this painting. All right. History. He's talking about Alexander the Great. He has here MCLM, etc. This is a Roman numeral. It looks like a year, but actually, according to Google, it isn't actually a year. I myself do not read Roman numerals. I imagine you don't either. But according to Google, according to this painting and these These Roman numerals, they are not real. But Basquiat is telling us about numbers here. He included the number 6 here and the word dipsomania. What is dipsomania? I had to look it up. It refers to alcoholism. All right. So it refers to, a vice. Okay. Vice. He continues with numbers 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe this is a 10. Maybe it's a cross. Maybe looks like a 10, a Roman numeral 10 with line. So that's 8 there. But we're going 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we have an 8 over here. We have what look like leaves on a vine. Or they actually also look like Christmas lights on each side. Those look like leaves, or they could be Christmas lights. I don't know. All right. We have a word here. We have 2 words here. We have some words over here as well. Let's start here. This word, drachm. All right. It looks difficult to pronounce. It looks like draksh. But this is the spelling of, I believe it was a Latin word. It should be pronounced dram. So the C and H are silent. Dram. Okay. The drum is related to Alexander the Great. It was a Greek coinage, the drum. Somehow, I think I'm mistaken. Yes, my research isn't accurate. I think I'm confusing the drum, which is a unit of measurement, okay, with Alexander the Great and the coinage, or maybe both are correct. Before starting this video, I had written some notes, but I'm kind of switching between the notes that I wrote and what I remember, what I recall from the video. So don't quote me on that. Actually, I think I'm right because I remember seeing both. I just can't pinpoint it. I just can't say definitively like this is what it is. So Google search it, fact check me on Google. All right. The next word we have here is phlegm. Phlegm, like as in something caught in my throat. There's some phlegm in my throat. And then we have the word thumb. Thumb. All right. Basquiat is communicating with us. He's telling us, hey, the English language is weird, my man. He's saying, look at these 3 words. They all end with the same syllabic what is it? Pronunciation, the same sounds, the same allels, phonemes, all of these linguistic terms. They end with the same. Drum, phlegm, thumb, and yet they're all spelled differently. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. The reason why I say that is because the reason why I spotted this, the reason why I identified what Basquiat was saying is because as an English teacher, this is a point that my students, those who are English learners and speakers of other languages, they found it difficult to learn English for reasons like this, because there isn't a set pattern or a fast, dry, fast and quick rule or an absolute that is consistent across all words. No, the English language varies very much. Of course, that's because English is borrowed. So many words are borrowed from Latin and Greek, okay? and many other languages at that. But we have here three words that emphasize the point that Basquiat is saying. Like these words, in one instance, Basquiat could simply be saying these words all end with the same syllabic pronunciation or final sound. In one sense, he could be saying that. Or in another sense, the interpretation I add is, hey, Basquiat is saying, look, man, English is crazy. All right. We have the word patois. Patois is a French word, and it refers to a language, but there's also distinctions between languages and dialects, colloquialisms, vernacular, slang. It has been said a language is just a dialect with an army. So there is the idea that power can influence. And so what is called a patois is simply an unarmed language or a language that isn't being enforced or doesn't have the force of power, an army and guns behind it to enforce it, to say this is the standard. But he puts patois here. He puts another word, thorus, Thorus, and I looked it up. There isn't a direct definition. There is a slight change in the word, and it says that this word probably refers to another word, Taurus, Torus, where the H is gone. Taurus, and Taurus refers to a bulge, a swelling. That's what it said. A bulge, a swelling. Could that refer to someone's head swelling, someone's gut, belly being bulged? I don't know. It also looks like this could say chorus, like in a song, a chorus. How a chorus fits in this work of art, I don't know. Thorus, how does that fit in? I don't know. Let's continue. We see the crown. Basquiat often adds a crown. A crown symbolizing royalty, oftentimes. And this is a trademark of Basquiat and his works of art. You see it time and time again. The crown is often placed over the head of a figure, symbolizing deification, a crowning, and uplifting that person. All right, the crown. We have some words here. Home 2, visitors 1. Looks like a score for some sort of game. Okay. We'll come back to these letters here. FKGD. It looks like it says, F God, FUCK God. I don't know of any of Jean Michel Basquiat's religious beliefs. It doesn't seem like in his work that he is expressing atheism or leanings toward atheisms. In fact, I'll get to this in a second, but this actually has a different meaning after I did some research into what those 4 letters combined could potentially allude to. All right. We see the number 47. What could that mean? Could it be the year 1947? Or could it be an earlier year, 1847, or some other time? Could it be the number of an athlete, the number on their jersey, number 47? Could it be? The way that I interpret this number is I did a quick Google search, and it revealed that in 1947, Jackie Robinson became the first African American to play in the major leagues in 1947. He was the age of 28. So could Basquiat have been telling us, hey, it's cool what Jackie Robinson did. I'm going to mention his achievement by writing these numbers. So those numbers represent Jackie Robinson's accomplishment. Maybe that's what Basquiat was telling us. So we move from possibly a reference to Jackie Robinson to now a reference to Jersey Joe Walcott. Now, who was Jersey Joe Walcott? Well, he was another black man, another black athlete who, of course, suffered under racism during his time. And because of the debasement, the subjugation that he suffered, Basquiat is working to change all of that by adding the crown, by bringing this man up, this man's legacy up, along with Jackie Robinson and all the other African Americans and all the other black people. He's bringing all of us up in his works of art. This is his theme. This is what Basquiat does. Without a question, this is what he's doing. Here, Jersey Joe Walcott is another black athlete who he's bringing up. For some reason, Basquiat has written the numbers 2004, and it seems to have a period behind it, but we do see 2004. What significance does that have? I don't know. Jersey Joe Walcott died in 1994. That was 10 years before 2004. We have another number 10. Is it significant? I don't know. But I will tell you that the reason I chose to analyze this work of art is because I was watching a documentary. And matter of fact, I'm going to get my documentary, the DVD, right now. All right. I was watching this documentary here, Basquiat, Rage to Riches. Okay. I'll move that around. Hopefully you can see the cover without there being too much glare. All right. Basquiat, Rage to Riches. Rage. Where does Basquiat's rage come from? Being a black man in America. That's enough. That's enough to make you angry and to drive you to rage. All right. This is a PBS documentary about Basquiat's art and his life. I was watching this documentary a few nights ago, and it was 11:09 p.m. when it was 11:09 p.m. when I was watching this documentary, and two things connected, two things happened, two things paralleled. It was at 11:09 at that point in the documentary when I saw this painting and I saw these numbers 109. Can you believe it? It's the truth. I had no idea. I bought this DVD from SO1 Books in Leimert Park. And one night I thought, what am I going to do tonight? I said, why don't I watch this documentary? I put it on, and at 11:09 p.m., at whatever point in this documentary, that time matched, this painting was being shown, and just across the screen, I saw 1, 0, and 9. And so that's why I'm talking about this, because I guess I'm Mr. 109. All right. I tie all of these little stories together to bring you, something, to bring you something real. Boom, for real, like Basquiat. So 109-235. Now, I did another Google search because this is a special number. It's an SIC number, Standard Industrial Classification. These numbers are used to classify things. And this Standard Industrial Classification code is a code that identifies and classifies metallic ore. metallic ore. So some iron, an iron ore. Maybe because it's metal, maybe gold, maybe copper, maybe silver, maybe bronze, maybe all of these metals. This code refers to. Now, this exact code is not. Well, I did not find this exact code. However, 1, 0, and 9, the prefix to this code is still used, and it is used to identify metallic ore. Now, this painting was made in 1982. Did this code refer to something else? It's possible. It's possible. Here, Jean Michel continues with the number 6 and 7. 6 referring to the liver, 7 referring to the lungs. All right. I probably should have gone in order. We talked about history. Jean Michel told us and referenced history with Alexander the Great, even with drum, the Roman numerals. He referenced history. He referenced sports when possibly referring to Jackie Robinson, but definitely referring to Jersey Joe Walcott. Definitely. Now he's referencing anatomy with the liver and the lungs. These are internal organs in the body. He also has the word chest written here. Of course, he has a head, and maybe with the thorax or torus, and he does have an arrow pointing to the head. Maybe the head is the swelling and the protrusion, the swelling or the bulge, okay? Maybe it's the head, maybe. All right. He definitely has a bone over here. All right. Another part of anatomy, the human body, a bone. He has the word paw written here. Paw. Should say hand. Humans have hands, but instead he's written paw. Now, he's written paw, and he's also mentioned a boxer. Now, I know that a boxer stance can be a southpaw, which is a particular stance where I think the left leg is in the front. Don't quote me. I'm not the biggest boxing aficionado, so I don't know. But the southpaw, all right, is a particular boxer stance. Leading with one particular hand, left or right. So maybe he's just written paw just so that he can mention the boxing. It's an echo of the boxing that has been referenced. Or is he saying that a black man is like an animal? Now, because Basquiat is a black man himself, and because Basquiat is I get the sense that he was a proud black man, that if he says Paul or if he writes Paul, he's not denigrating, diminishing himself or others who are black, but rather he is echoing the sentiment of non-blacks, other people who say or who would conceive of a black man as being a lower being. So he's telling us this is what they think. He's not saying that we are this. He's saying this is what they think of us. Here's what they think of us. Here's what they think about. Here's what they think of us. Like Ice Cube in NWA with No Vaseline. Here's what they think of you. Here's what they think of you. Here's what they think of you. Kind of get that sort of thing. Now it gets very deep because now I think Basquiat is talking about economics. He's talking about business, especially talking about trade. How did I arrive at that conclusion? If you look here, he has China and he has Haiti, 2 countries. Their names are listed here. And then Haiti has 2 arrows pointing from it. And from China, there's 1 arrow pointing to, or pointing away from it. So China has 1 arrow pointing away from it. Haiti has 2 arrows pointing away from it. I summarize this as he's saying that there's a trade imbalance between Haiti and China. China is taking more from Haiti than Haiti receives in the exchange. It's a deficit, a trade deficit. And the bone perhaps says that what the Haitians receive in return is death, their bones from the hard work. Whereas the Chinese have a booming economy, and maybe this is a stock chart showing the economy, showing a stock price going up, and there's the arrow going up. Maybe the bones, you have an exchange here, down and up, and you have what looks like an EKG reading of the heart, and it looks like after this last beep there's a flat line. Call me crazy, but it looks like Basquiat is saying that the black man is diminished, or rather specifically the Haitian. The Haitian is diminished and treated like an animal, exploited until death by the Chinese. That's what I see there. I could be wrong. Now, going back to the religious, that's another point. Religion, all right? This FKGD, but maybe Basquiat wasn't talking about religion, wasn't calling religion into this work of art, but he was probably continuing with the same theme of economics, business, and trade when he wrote FKGD. It looks like FUCK, God, okay? But I don't think Basquiat meant that, because remember, this painting was made in 1982. Well, in 1981, there was a company that was founded, and the company, I guess, mined oil and gas. And if you're familiar with ticker symbols on the stock market, a ticker symbol is a 4-letter, 3 to 4 letter, a group of letters, 3 to 4, letters long. Sometimes 2, sometimes 1 letter, okay? That stands for that company. I'll give you an example. General Electric, their ticker symbol is GE. The Citibank, the ticker symbol is the letter C. Apple, the ticker symbol is AAPL. All right. So these ticker symbols are, it's a group of letters, or it's a single or double letter combination that is used to represent a company. In this case, FKGD is literally the ticker symbol of a British company that was founded in 1981, and it focuses on oil and gas mining or extraction. Perhaps he included it. Maybe he had heard the news. Maybe he was looking at a newspaper as source material when creating this, and he remembered this company's name, so he put it in here, because essentially this is an example of a company that could potentially be mining oil and gas, importing it from the Chinese, who are perhaps receiving it from the Haitians. Or maybe this company is just another example of an exploitative conglomerate that does not have, the smaller country's interest at heart. Oh, I completely forgot. Toussaint Louverture. Haitian revolutionary leader. He's bigging us up. He's bigging us up, putting us. He's telling you who he is. He's telling you who he identifies with. He identifies with revolution. He's a fighter. The Haitians won. He has arrows here. He has an arrow from Jersey Joe Walcott to Toussaint Louverture. He puts the crown between them. He's raising us up. That's what I see. That's my analysis. What do you think about this painting? And one more point. I probably should have mentioned this initially, but I was so excited because this painting has my 109 or 10-9 in it. This is a part 2. This is a part 2. There are 2 parts to this. I did find, however, that the internet says that this was part 3, and they're somehow implying that there are 3 parts to this particular painting. However, it says when you do some research, you find that it says definitively that there are 2 parts and not 3. So it's pretty confusing. So in the comment section, let me know what you think. If you made it this far to the video, I give you a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. All right. Oh, before I end this video, I forgot. August 9th, 2022, there will be an immersive experience of Basquiat's artwork and his life in New York City. And I wish I could go. Hopefully, the exhibit will continue past May, because I will return to the United States in May and hopefully attend and get immersed in all of that beautiful, wonderful, exquisite work of art that is Basquiat and his life. All right, guys, peace.